let's talk relationships. So you're dating. How do you navigate physical boundaries? How do you? How do you think is best in glorifying God? Again, there might be some different thoughts here. So it'd be cool to kind of hear what some of you think, different things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously, if you're entering, so obviously talking about a relationship where we're pursuing a future, guy and girl, thinking the idea of there might be a future. So in that relationship, I hope there's an element of attraction, because you need to be attracted to the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So it's a good thing that you're attracted. But one thing we did really early in our relationship is we communicated and just laid it all out. And we would really, you got to talk about it, because you're attracted to the person. So you want to protect yourself, and you want to do it, honour God and do it the ideal way that we can as far as our relationship and how I treated her. And I was just like, we need to talk about this. So not long into our relationship, once we said, we're going to give this a go and see what comes of it, we spoke about it. And it was awkward for us. We were young, we didn't know what we were saying, and we're like, do we do this, don't we do that? But it was worth it. It just set us on the right track early in our relationship. So I think you definitely need to bring it in pretty early, because you are going to be attracted to the person. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think for us, we had to really kind of just talk about it at the start, just to say this is where the boundaries are, and just really communicate that quite clearly. And that definitely helped. And Lee mentioned it before, having the godly people around you as well, and you're asking them questions, or how did you do it, what worked well, what didn't work well. And then you can kind of see, okay, that's what worked well, let's try that. And I think, communication is really key, and if we don't have that, or that openness to share our vulnerabilities or things we're liking or not liking, I just feel like it hinders the relationship. So yeah, I think that's really kind of helped us a lot.
I guess for me personally, I felt like God has always spoken to me about making my life a good testimony. I think that's something that I've held on to, and I feel like being in this relationship with Danny, I wanted to be able to tell to my children in the future that how we did it, how we stayed pure, how we honored God in our relationship. And I think that's something that I firmly believe, and I wanted to pass on to my children. And I know I can't tell them something that I didn't do myself. So that's what's helping me.
How about, so in this, say we've got boundaries set up, we're here to honour one another. How about when, within any relationship, because there's all sorts of boundaries that you set up in any relationship, whether it's, in a dating relationship, physical boundaries, maybe emotional boundaries, but just in general, in our relationships with our friends and all of that, there's all sorts of boundaries and stuff. What happens when, within a relationship, there's friction, trust is broken, and someone's been hurt? What do you do to enter into some sort of reconciliation? What does it look like? Let's say you've been hurt or someone's hurt you. What does that look like for you guys? Have you seen?
Well, we don't know what that feels like. Of course, if trust is broken, you've got to obviously seek the Lord and ask God what He wants you to do and how He wants you to view things, and put His spectacles on. It really does help. And then the forgiveness factor, you have to forgive, and to forgive means to give before they even ask for forgiveness. Forgive, the actual word itself means to do it before. So you're not going to wait for them to repent and be sorry. I didn't like the way you said sorry, that apology is not acceptable. No, you just forgive, right, and then work it out. And you talk, like Brendan was saying. You need to be able to communicate and talk and try and see each other's point of view. And usually, 99% of the time it works out. Yeah. We're still here 31 years later. Awesome. Thanks.
I'd say, it's all about your relationship with God. So and the Bible talks about if you have an issue with a brother or a friend and you go to God and you're bringing your gift of worship, God actually says, go deal with that situation first. So it depends on if you're the one who's done the wrong, or if you've both done the wrong. But if you can be the person to be quick to forgive or quick to ask for forgiveness, then that's really that's the test that you can do of yourself before you do of someone else. Like take the log out of your own eye before you try and fix the other person.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it like your relationship with God, you can't even go a day without fixing this issue, because you can't get a day, you can't go a day without worshiping God.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like this is God's child, this is God's son or daughter, how would he have me treat them? Then it's easy to be like, okay, whatever I'm holding, this grudge, whatever it is, I'm just going to forgive, and I'm going to be the person to be the first to do it.
Sure. 100%.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's heaps good.
I would also say, like, with issues of, being hurt and, disagreeing about stuff, that having really high standards, that kind of isn't the norm and doesn't really happen that often. It prepares you to just deal with it and just not let things like that go on and on. When you have that standard of, we're not going to let tension be between us for, minutes or even hours at all. That's not the norm in our relationship. So, just fixing things quickly and not having that habit or type of relationship where things get between you often, I don't think you can. It would be better to expect that to not happen, and have that standard that you deal with things quickly and, just expect that tension doesn't last very long at all.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's interesting.
I think as well, if my hands are shaking only because I was holding my granddaughter and she's so heavy, my muscles. It's not because I'm nervous, I'm sorry. So if we fill ourselves up with the Lord and we are viewing life through His eyes, I think the thing that will help in any relationship, husband and wife or even friendship, is seeing the other person through God's eyes and seeing the situation. Some people internalize a lot of things and they might be, grumpy because of their own issues, not because of you. And sometimes you might take it, they're upset with me. And then you're making this thing up in your mind. And so if you can just stop all of that and just think that maybe they're going through something of their own, and let me just pray for them, and it won't be such a thing that you think, I'm offended by what's been happening, and then the relationship breaks up. So yes, starting there, sorry, my hands are so shaky, is what I would do, yeah.